You can earn $25,000 if you can tell the people at Georgia Power who damaged one of the reactors at Plant Vogtle. Over the weekend, someone took a hammer or something to some gauges of the incomplete number 2 reactor. The cost to repair the vandalism is about $10,000. If you know who did it and they are convicted, the $25,000 reward is yours. The vandalism didn't affect operation of the active number 1 reactor. A Fort Gordon employee is being awarded tonight for his money-saving efforts. William Weber was presented with a Productivity Award today from Secretary of Defense Frank Carlucci. It seems Weber's innovative ideas saved Uncle Sam and the taxpayers nearly $250 million. $250 million. Weber, who lives in Martinez, is only one of 8 Defense Department employees to receive the award.
By Sunday, you should have your W-2 statement. That means you can now get down to the task of figuring out your taxes for last year. Steve Crowley reports in tonight's Money Watch that if you want to get a refund back soon, you need to file now.
All right, no problem. It's an April 15th ritual. The closer it gets to midnight, the more your local post office will look like this. Often the traffic is backed up on the freeways. The deadline is here. It's a fact, waiting until the very last minute can cause a lot of stress with the unfinished tax return hanging over our head like a sword. It's almost like a scene out of a horror movie.
You'll try to sleep, but it will come creeping into your mind and grow into a private horror of your own making. All because you're leaving your taxes for the last minute.
There's a big push on this year to get us to file early. The IRS wants the workload spread out with fewer people filing at the very last minute. Being early is a good idea when we're prepared, a bad idea when we're not. The tools you'll need: last year's 1986 tax return as a guide, this year's 1987 tax package, all your W-2 forms for wages during the year, all your 1099 forms for other income, your canceled checks, and everything else that backs up taxable income or creates a possible deduction. Whenever a missing W-2 is slowing you down and the employer won't give it to you or has just disappeared, whatever the reason, first try to get that W-2 yourself. Then ask the IRS to make that phone call for you.
If we still can't do that, we'll give a substitute W-2. Now, it will be up to the employee to give us an estimate of the wages that they've earned and the taxes that have been withheld. And hopefully that employee will have some pay stubs to back up the information.
Then I recommend getting some free publications from the local IRS Forms Distribution Center. I'd order up a copy of Publication 17, your Federal Income Tax Guide, and Publication number 920, an explanation of how tax reform affects you and your tax return. While you're at it, ask for a copy of Publication 910, a guide to all the IRS free tax services. And tomorrow we'll take a close look at the new tax forms from my CPA point of view. We'll find out a lot of things have changed. I'm Steve Crowley for Money Watch.
And coming up in sports tonight, Stan has highlights from last night's Hawks game.
And a report on people who really dive in for competition at Augusta College.
The great rebates of 88 have just gotten bigger at your Ford dealer, but only for a limited time. Get a $500 rebate on Ford F-Series trucks, the #1 selling trucks in the world. Add a factory option package that includes free factory air and save over $2,600. Or get a $500 rebate on Ford Ranger, the #1 selling compact pickup in America. Then save over $1,800 when you add an option package. But it all ends soon. The great rebates of 88. Get your 175 Southland Ford dealer's best deal today.
What's the best way to use Scepter herbicide? Not all soybean growers see eye to eye.
Broadcast Scepter full rate with your grass herbicide before planting. Well, if I banned it, I could save a few dollars. Yeah, but with earlier application, I got more time for rain. I think and more time for planting. But I've still got those extra dollars. Yeah, and you're going to need them, and then some for cleanups.
Make the best even better. Broadcast Scepter before planting.
You know, you're a smart man. Yeah, I've got my head together.
See your Agri-Center dealer.
Monday through Friday, a smiling face. There's no one I know who can take her place. I found a friend in her. Yes, I found a friend, and she is my friend. Yes, I found a friend in her.
Well, Stan, it's not really the season to be talking about swimming, but you've got some real fish over at AC.
And we do. And Kathy and I were talking about swimming a little bit earlier today, expectant mothers and whatnot. That's a good sport for expectant mothers.
It really is. I imagine I'd float like a buoy right now.
Okay. How many weeks you got to go?
About 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
We're getting real close here.
We'll
and
be keeping tabs.
Two callers last night called to ask if I was pregnant. Yes, I am.
Quite a
Haven't you noticed?
Maybe we can get you to stand up here.
No, not now. We won't stand. Thank
Swimming,
you.
though. Swimming. Back to swimming. Not exactly, as Sharon said, the time of year that most of us think about swimming, but as Trent Butler explains, some folks would tell you the water's just fine. Right, Trent?
Right you are, Stan. The bone-chilling Augusta weather certainly hasn't stopped the Lady Aquajags from hitting the pool. The girls are off to a 2-2 start, but they expect to finish with a winning season. Third-year coach Richard Harrison has a talented group of 10 girls, and all but one is from the Augusta area. In fact, Augusta is such a good training ground for swimmers, Harrison just can't lure them all to AC.
City has such a good program that most of our good talent goes to bigger places, which is understandable. You know, they have excellent people. We put them on scholarship throughout the southeastern United States.
Even so, Harrison feels the youth of this year's squad will ensure the Lady Aquajags have a bright future.
Well, I expect to set some more school records. Our girls are doing that. We have everybody back next year, so we're going to try to recruit some more players next year, and we've got the nucleus right now of our winning season next year.
I'm Trent Butler for Sports Watch, live at 6.
And at AC this afternoon, the Lady Aquajags run their record to 3-2. There you see it, a 91-70 win against Pfeiffer College. In the NBA last night, the Hawks didn't fare so well against the Boston Celtics, and so their home court win streak is stopped at 16 games. Actually, the Hawks were on track to increase that string, but with Atlanta leading 97-93 late in the game, Robert Parrish silences the congregation, a big man here. Boston reels off 9 unanswered points, and though Danny Ainge had his three-point streak stopped at 23 games, the Celtics win it 102-97.
They did all the things that championship teams do down the stretch. They executed when they had to, got the ball into the right people's hands, made the passes when they had to make them, and they got some good bounces of the ball. Some things that hit the rim that came off to them in the right spots, and they made the things happen that they had to stay close enough and then to pull it out in the last couple minutes.
Well, the streak was fun, while it lasted. I'm not disappointed at all. Sometimes, in some ways, it's a relief to get it over with. It's a fun thing. I like to shoot the three-point shot. I'm going to continue to shoot it. And tonight I had some easy opportunities that just didn't go in.
In high school basketball action last night, the Laney Wildcats hosting ARC. Ricky Howard and Kevin Roney going back and forth before Howard gets the 250-28 Laney. But ARC is going to scrap back from 23 points down at one point, and they'd come back and tie the game and send it into overtime. But Laney would prevail in overtime, 75-73 against ARC last night. In action tonight on the college ranks, Ole Miss is at Georgia, and the Augusta College women host Coastal Carolina. We'll have highlights of the AC women tonight at 11. And keeping with the theme of basketball, next up is part 2 of this week's edition of the NBA Great Plays. Got to be hot to make that shot.
Hot, hot, hot.
NBA Great Plays.
Okay, Stan, we'll see you at 11.
Sure.
Thank you. Still ahead, a pioneer broadcasting makes it to his industry's Hall of Fame.
Carpet Country's truckload sale. Now through Saturday, save up to 60% on every carpet in the store. World Carpet with Zephron Nylon from $2.99 a yard. Carpet Country, 2 locations. Hurry and save.